today. Chris Baker here, and today I get a chance to do something that I've never gotten to do before. I'm going to be reviewing a brand new piece of gear, the Fender ToneMaster Pro. It's something that I've been seeing some stuff on the internet, some leaks have gotten out there, and I was able to get my hands on one about a week before they were released by Fender, so that's super cool. Thanks to Hubbard's Music for making that happen, as well as their local Fender rep. And I've had so much fun with this thing. It's such a great piece of gear. So this first patch is one that it was based off of one of their presets, the Wicked Tone. It's the number 36 if you get your hands on one. And I've kind of just altered it to kind of be what I want it to be. So this right now is just in the mode where you can change presets, go to different ones, and I've been messing with this, so I've been changing it. And you hit this fruit switch mode, and that's when you can go into the different pedals. And so basically I have a Fender twin amp pulled up right here, and I've kind of adjusted some of that to my own liking. And you have your cabinet settings that you can go into there. And so I have it set up with SM57 on the cap, get a nice bright sound out of that. And then I've just added some pedals. I have the spring reverb that's just always on, that's this pink one here. And then I've got a hall reverb that's modulated. And then I've got a tape echo. And then I've got a compressor, which I think sounds kind of like an 1176. Really enjoyed this compressor. Sort of have it set up as a clean boost as well, but it definitely compresses and gets a lot more out of the amp as well. Kind of like a nice compressor pedal would. And then this is like a King of Tone overdrive. It cleans up nice. There's a lot of touch sensitivity with this one. If I hit it real light, I can get a nice clean. And then if I hit it heavier, especially on the bridge pickup, just a real nice overdrive sound. And by the way, I'm playing on my 2013 Fender Coronado, something that I've modded out a little bit, but one of my favorite guitars that I own. And then also I've got a harmonic trim, something that sounds, very Fender-esque. I love using a harmonic trim, especially on cleaner sounds. Sounds like a good Fender amp right there, in my opinion. And then last but not least, I've got a tube overdrive that hits just a little bit. So that's what all those sound like separately, and I think this is a major game-changing thing for me, because so when I'm playing shows, I do live looping, and so in the middle of songs I might turn on like 7-8 pedals, something like that, kind of like I would have set up here on some of my lead tones. I might turn on that many pedals within my board, and then at the end of the song I'm sitting there tapping all 8 of them as I'm getting ready to start the next song. But one cool feature that I found in this one is right here, this where it says multi, is that I just had that turn on everything that I want for the lead tone. So it does not turn on the hall modulated reverb or the harmonic trim. So if I wanted everything, I'd still have to hit those 2 pedals. But this multi turns on everything else, which I think is so game changing. And so when I'm in the middle of a song in one of my loops, and I get to a lead part, I can just hit this one pedal and then when the song's over, I just hit that pedal again and we're back to square one. And we're ready to start a new song. And so I think this patch is one that I found myself using a lot this last weekend, just because Fender amps are kind of my comfort zone. You might see the hot rod in the corner over there. And you also might see this one right down here, which I'll talk about probably in another video, because I did get the FR speaker, the FR speaker that combines with this, which I think is going to be super game changing for me. I'm going to use that all the time, whether I'm using it with the Tone Master Pro or one of my other modelers that I have. Some of the other modelers that I've had experience with are the UA Dream 65, which I think is just a killer pedal, and I'm not going to stop using it because it's amazing. And I think that there's still like a niche thing that I can do with that's its own thing. But I've also used the Quilter Super Block, the US version, which does great Fender sounds too, I think. And then I've also used the MX5 from Headrush, which is a multi-effects kind of similar to this Tone Master Pro, but this to me is real game changing. And probably the closest that I would compare it to would be like the Helix. I've had a little bit of experience. I've never owned one, but I've used some friends of mine, and I think it does some amazing stuff. But I think really where the Fender is gonna be breaking into this market a lot more is with this interface. Everything looks like it's a pedal that you've used before. Everything looks like gear that we recognize, and you have knobs and buttons on there that feel like knobs and buttons that we've used on pedals as guitar players for years. And so I think that's going to be something that people are going to really jump on board with this. And the funny thing about this is I'll have to make another video probably about this in the future, but I'm using this before Fender has even released the firmware update. And so I'm told there's going to be a looper added and probably some other sounds and pedals. There's not a lot of options for bass at this point. There's a bass patch that I used in that intro that they call Studio Bass, and oh, I can find it here. There, that's the Studio Bass, and it's pretty simple, just kind of a tube preamp and a compressor and a little bit of EQ just to push that low end a little bit more. But all in all, I would say the presets are pretty good on this thing. I've tinkered with a few, and obviously there's a ton. Once you start kind of diving into this, you can go into all your different all the different presets. You can just scroll for days. I think they have like 100 already preset into here, and you have different amps, different pedal sequences, all sorts of stuff, as well as you can run in that. At the very start of that demo, I had a acoustic running through there, my Fender Acoustasonic, and I think it sounds really good, especially through the FR speaker. It's kind of like the dream acoustic live tone that you struggle getting if you were using. I think the Acoustasonic and this pedal are like match made in heaven, because you can get a lot of those drive sounds as well as just a pure clean acoustic sound. And you can run vocals through here, which I did mess with a little bit. I may dive into that in another video or something, but it does really well. You can warm up your vocals real nice with that, with this tube preamp here. And I think some of the reverbs and delay sounds in here are pretty well done in comparison to what I've used in the past. I think the reverb on the UA Dream is amazing, but you're also limited to the one spring reverb that they chose, which is you know, the same thing as you'd have on a traditional amp. But on this sort of setup, you put whatever reverb you want on there. You've got plates and halls and springs and modulation, all sorts of crazy stuff. But if we go into, let's see, let's find out one of my patches that I've used. This is one also that I've used a bunch. I think that they really have nailed the Vox sound on this. The Marshall stuff I'm still messing with a little bit. I really like the Friedman. The EVH stuff, if you're wanting to go high gain, it's ridiculous. They do have a license with the EVH stuff. But I've really personally been enjoying these Vox sounds. I really enjoy that. That's something that I've really... And that's just the pure amp sound. That's it, before we even get into any of this other stuff. But I have a plate reverb on there, which I've owned a few really good plate reverbs for years. And obviously most Vox amps wouldn't come with a built-in reverb. And that's probably another thing that I should touch on is placement. You know, if you can run some of your time-based effects, reverb and delay after, which would be similar to putting them in an effects loop separately. You can just hear that touch sensitivity in there and go from light to heavy picking. That's so nice. I would use that all day. And for this one, I had a lot of fun with, obviously clones are a big deal in the YouTube world and all that stuff right now. So this is their clone kind of impression as far as on the... And I went pretty heavy gain on that because I'm mostly going to kick that on for my lead tones on this setting. Maybe getting a little bit of lower that headroom there, just. And I think some of your features, I mean, you can. I think that's the really great thing about this kind of setup is that you run it at whatever volume you need. You know, you run it at bedroom volumes, and you can still really push it however you want. And for recording, you know, I was clipping a little bit there. I just run it down, but I don't lose any of that grit because I'm not having to turn anything down on the amp itself. But I do love the touch sensitivity of this setup. I'm going to say that so many times probably. So, I mean, that's just a couple of features there. I wanted to keep this fairly short just for the first one. But I'm loving this unit. It does a ton more things than what I've just done. I've really been enjoying diving into this Fender Tone Master Pro, and I think it's something that I'm going to be able to use for a long time. And having talked to the Fender rep, he tells me that there's a lot of updates to come. Like I said earlier, there's a looper coming that'll probably be along with the actual release that happened today, from what I'm told, hopefully. And if not, then I hope you can get your hands on one very soon. I highly recommend this piece of gear. I'm having such a blast with it. And for the versatility and being able to plug straight into a PA or the FR speaker, and I can run it straight into my looping setup, and it's just plug and play ready to go. And I think the sounds are pretty spot on. There's some stuff that I still really want to tinker with, and I think that's a lot of that's just me learning this format. But you know, having run everything in through there, I think it's a good piece of gear, and there's some magic built into this box for sure. So I hope you've enjoyed my little mini review of this thing, and hope to do many more of these. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.